As you all know, Ryan Godfrey announced that he was departing NDSU back in early September to take the head cross-country coach position at Kansas State, and it was actually the morning of my press conference. I remember sitting in the hotel reading the paper, and that's when I had found out about his decision. And as much as we're thankful for Ryan for all that he did for our program, it was really important for us to move swiftly and quickly as possible for a couple reasons. One, to maintain, I think, the stability within the women's track program, but also as we neared the early signing date in November. So it's really important that we move quickly. And so we formed a search committee led by Senior Associate AD Troy Gergen. And I want to thank the search committee for all their efforts in moving this process along quickly. Lynn Dorn and I were able to meet with the search committee and really talk about the characteristics that we were looking for in the next head coach. And first, we were looking for a head coach that could recruit the caliber of student athletes that could continue the tradition and success that we've had here in the women's program, but also recruit people that would fit into the Bison culture, positively represent the university and the athletics program, and those who understood our focus on academics. Secondly, someone that could develop each student athlete's athletic potential. Third, someone who understood his or her role as an educator, a mentor, and role model to our student athletes. And finally, and most importantly, someone who wants to be at NDSU and who is passionate about Bison athletics, and you'll hear me talk a lot about that. At the end of the day, we want people who want to be here, who are passionate about what we're trying to do and believe in our culture and the mission of our university. Fortunately for us, we did not have to go very far to find the right person. In Stevie Keller, we found someone that can lead our women's track and field program and build upon its long tradition of success. As a member of the Bison staff for the last 14 years, Stevie has played an integral role in establishing the women's track program as one of the best in the region. There are 17 Summit League team titles, yes, 17 in the last 7 years is extremely impressive and speaks to the quality of the coaches and the student athletes that we have in that program. I look forward to working closely with Stevie and his staff as he implements his vision and plan for the track program. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce the fourth head coach in the history of NDSU Women's Track and Field Program, Mr. Stevie Keller.
Well, this is my first press conference, so you might have to bear with me a little bit here. First, I want to thank a number of people here that have made this opportunity possible for me. President Brashani, his support for Bison Athletics is unbelievable. He's a great leader for this university, and I'm honored to be the next head women coach. Matt Larsen, having the opportunity to visit with him the last couple weeks and then through the interview process has made me even more excited to be part of this program. His vision for the program is something that I look forward to working with him and continuing the success of Bison Athletics. Lynn Dorn, I'd like to thank Lynn for all the success and the guidance over the years. Lynn has been a big part of the unbelievable women's athletic programs at NDSU, and I'd like to thank her for her hard work and dedication to that. I would also like to thank our athletic department. The support I've had through this process has been great. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with our administration that has supported our program very, very well in the past, and I look forward to that. Troy Gergen and the search committee, they did a tremendous job with the interview process. Gave me an opportunity to interview, to meet a number of members of our staff and visit with them about my plans, my visions for this program, and it was very professional, and I enjoyed the process, and I want to thank them for that. Don Larsen and Ryan Godfrey. They've been great mentors for me the last 14 years working alongside these guys. They've instilled in me the confidence to be a great coach, to be able to stand up here today and be the head coach of this program, and I want to thank them for that. I could go on and on about what they've done for me, but it's a great opportunity to be able to continue to work with Lars. And our staff, we have an amazing staff. Trevor Barry, our jumps coach, Justin St. Clair, our throws coach, Andrew Carlson, who we added this summer as our distance coach. And these men have been behind me and have supported me unbelievably in this process. And I'd like to thank them for that. We have a unique sport in track and field, as our assistant coaches serve as the head coach for each event area. And oftentimes they don't get the credit they deserve. and I've witnessed this as an assistant coach for years, but Larsen and Ryan have always been quick to tell you, hey, this is a team program and things like that. But as a head coach, I'm looking forward to taking all the credit that they deserve. And then our student athletes. Every day I get to come to work and work with young individuals that are passionate, that are driven, both academically and athletically. And when I walk through the doors of that new facility every day, it's just a great experience for me as a coach, but also for them to just be able to see them grow and develop. In the classroom and both on the track. Our women's team GPA was 3.58 last semester. Along with 17 conference titles, I'm walking into no pressure here. It's gonna, there's no pressure at all. So I'd like to thank the student athletes. They've been supportive of this whole process, and it's gone quick. It's been 4 or 5 weeks since Ryan left, and time flies by, I'll tell you that. I'd also like to thank Wes Offerman for the hard work and dedication he puts into our program. I've worked with a lot of different sports information directors over the years, and Wes is a track guy, and when you're a track guy, you get track and field. Not a lot of people like to go sit out in a track meet for 8 to 10 hours and watch or battle the weather, but Wes does a great job exposing us nationally as far as Twitter and Facebook and all those things. There's times when I'm at a track meet and Wes is in Fargo with a basketball, and I'll get a text message from him telling me, hey, it's great that such and such broke the school record. Well, I'm on the other side of the track, and I didn't even know that one of the throwers broke the school record. So his information during the meet is great, because then when you go and see that kid, you don't have to ask him how things went. You say, hey, congratulations on the new school record. So Twitter and all that stuff is great. Pat Fredrickson has also been a big supporter of me, and she's been giving me some great guidance over the years. I want to thank her for that. When you have somebody that has been here as long as Pat, and Lars told me this a long time ago, you always want to make sure Pat's happy. So that's good advice from Lars. Last and most importantly, I'd like to thank my family. Family is very important to me, and their support means the world. First of all, I'd like to thank my parents, Stephen and Becky Keller, and my sisters, Kim and Susie. Well, they were Keller growing up, but my family's a track family, and when I tell people about my experiences as a kid, they think we were crazy, because we would load up in the car and drive across the country to track meets. That's what our summer vacations revolved around, was where's the national track meet this year? Okay, we're going to load in the car and go to California. Next year we loaded in a motorhome and drove across the country to go to Florida. So I've seen the country because of track and field. My mom coached track for 33 years, and each one of her, well, both my sisters and I are somewhat involved in coaching, and she's very, very proud of that. I'd like to thank my in-laws, Pat and Paulette Klein, for their support. They've been a very big supporter of me over the years. And as far as my family goes, my wife Erin, who's here today, my son Kyson, who's a kindergartner, and he's in school today for the right reasons, that he'd be running around and probably standing beside me right now. And my daughter Aspen, whose second birthday was yesterday. And everybody knows what they say about 2-year-olds, so that's why she's at daycare today. I'm just going to read this and not look up here. So about my wife, being the coach's wife is not always an easy task when you start looking at the number of days we are gone for meets and recruiting. Fortunately, Erin has competed for the Bison and understands track and field and cross country. She understands what it means to be part of the Bison family. She has been my #1 supporter throughout my journey as a coach. I cannot begin to thank her enough for everything she has done for me, and the support that she's had for me, and the things that she has had to put up with as a coach's wife. So for that, I thank you. All right, so I'll we don't get an opportunity to talk to the press often, so I'm just going to go on and on and on here. I was really hoping I went first, because whenever we speak at functions, they always say, hey, you only got about 5 minutes, allow enough time for football or basketball. But I'm very humbled and very grateful for this opportunity. As a former NDSU student athlete, I know what it means to be a Bison. It's not what we do in competition, but what we do off the track or off the field in the society, in the Bison community, that makes our athletes special. More and more each year, our program has gotten to represent our school at the national level. Since we moved Division I, and I was here for that transition period, we had some great days at Division II, a Division II national title that I was a part of, something I won't forget. Many runner-up finishes. When we moved to Division I felt we were at the top of the division, and I didn't know if it was the right thing for us to do, honestly. But through this journey of Division I, it's been an amazing experience. We've had 10 All-Americans on the women's side. For me personally, it started with Heather Zander, who was a heptathlete, who was an All-American. And then from there, the bar was raised. Whitney Carlson was a 5-time All-American. She was an Elite 88 award winner, which is awarded to one individual at the outdoor and indoor track and field national meet. So that's pretty special. Laura Hermanson was a runner-up of the 800 at the Division I national meet. Leslie Bross continued to raise the bar in the pole vault. She came in here, and I think our school record was 12.6. Well, she ended up jumping 14.3 and was 4th indoors one year. Had an opportunity to compete at the Olympic trials in 2012. Christine Bruin-Schmaltz ran the fastest 800 by any collegiate in 2011. At the U.S. Championships, her time was the fastest that year by any collegiate 800 runner. So that's pretty special. She's a North Dakota kid from Wofford City. Amanda Schmock, who didn't compete in Division I, but competed in the Olympic Games in London in 2012. She's a big supporter of Bison athletics. I was here when Amanda got here as a freshman, and it's been fun watching her grow and develop. And most recently, our women's 4x4 team last year, that turned a lot of heads nationally. You know, it's one thing for an individual to be successful in track and field, but when you can put a 4x4 at the top of the country and have the opportunity to compete at the national meet indoor and outdoor, that's pretty special. So NDSU track and field is on the map nationally, and we continue to get the encouragement and support from bigger universities out there. And we always tell our kids that we always take credit. We don't take credit, but we always get all this credit for the hard work that they put into this program. So they definitely deserve that. Having the opportunity to be the next head women's track and field coach means the world to me. This is something that is very special to me. This is my home state. I grew up in Harvey, North Dakota, and to be able to be a Division I head coach in North Dakota is something that I've been dreaming about for a long time. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
So obviously the bar is set pretty high. What are your goals then as head coach?
Obviously, we're going to try to continue the tradition of excellence here our women's track team has had in a cross-country program. Summit-wise, that's our goal, to win the Summit Championship year in and year out. But we want to continue to make that impact nationally. We want to be able to continue to develop student athletes and give them opportunities to compete at the national level.
Stevie, your familiarity with the current team, how much will that help in this transition?
You know, it has helped out a lot. From day one, when Ryan stepped down as a head coach, he had a meeting with the girls. Obviously, our staff knew what it was about, and it really came as a big shock to them. And immediately, Ryan pointed to me and said, "That's your guy right there." And so at that time, I addressed the women's team. And from that day on, when you have meetings with these young ladies, everybody's focused and looking at you. And I haven't had that before as an assistant coach. I haven't seen the determination in these ladies' eyes is unbelievable. So the support I've had from them has been great. I think that the consistency with our staff is important, and that's something that I'll continue to work on with them, the guys we have in this room and the volunteers that we have that help us out also.
how soon after you found out that Ryan was leaving did you know this was the job that you wanted?
Well, I've known that I've wanted to be a head coach, and I've always prepared myself. The last 6 years, I've been the associate head coach for both men and women, and during that time period, I've tried to take notes, and I've tried to learn more and more about the ins and outs of track and field. And Ryan and Lars have set me up to move into this position without a hiccup. But you know, Ryan came over to my house to let me know what was going on, that he was taking this job, and right then I knew that I needed to step it up and you know, put in the time that's needed as a head coach.